This all started when I was sharing a conversation with my good friend Lee Davies of Elite Real Estate just a couple weeks ago. Lee was mentioning that he was noticing softness in the Forest Heights neighborhood, which happens to be in the city of Portland, Multnomah County. Many of his sellers were leaving the city in order to escape to Washington County and Lake Oswego in order to save on income taxes. But he was noticing that, in fact, many of these buyers were having to pay a premium for similar housing. And we born the question, is it possible that housing in Multnomah County has become undervalued? Hey guys, it's Evan Swanson here of Guild Mortgage, and I want to walk you through this presentation where we actually measure it. See, the data shows that many households in the city of Portland are opting to move out of the city in order to presumably save on income taxes. Especially higher income households have a higher tax liability by filing from within the city than out. Here's the thing, there's lots of reasons why people elect to move. Financial considerations are one of them. In this particular analysis, only focuses on the tax implications, but certainly quality of life, the quality of the schools, amenities, proximity to family, and in some cases even philosophical or political differences may be a reason why people leave. I am only focusing on the financial aspects. What I want to show you is the difference between home ownership or home prices in Portland 97229, which incorporates Forest Heights, and Lake Oswego specifically. Now you'll notice here that the median price of sold homes in these two areas has always been a little bit different. In Lake Oswego, there's always been a housing premium. But since the additional preschool taxes, et cetera, have been passed by Multnomah County voters, that gap has widened, where in 2015, the median price home in Lake Oswego was 17% more expensive. It's now nearly 60% more expensive than 97229. Now, if we look at this on a price per square foot basis, same thing. Back in 2015, a square foot of house was 23% more expensive in Lake Oswego. And after the pandemic and after voters approved these taxes, it's now 35% more expensive on a price per square foot basis. Now, the reality is that the supportive housing services, which is a metro tax, applies not only to Multnomah County, Portland tax filers, but also Washington County and Lake Oswego, Clackamas County, et cetera. The only differences are the preschool for all tax and the business income activity tax. The Multnomah County preschool tax applies to individual filers with AGI above $125,000 and joint filers for $200,000 and above. They pay 1.5% of their income in the preschool for all tax. Now, once individuals make more than $250,000 or joint filers above $400,000, that number jumps to 3%. The business income activity tax only applies to those who are self-employed and have pass-through taxation. So think about LLCs or S corporations. And they are taxed on their apportionable income that is earned within Multnomah County. Now, I am not a CPA. I'm not going to go into the details here, but those are the two taxes that would apply in Multnomah County, but that don't apply in Clackamas County or Washington County. So I decided to take some cases. And so here's a situation where we have a joint filing couple that lives in Portland. They are W-2 wage earners, so we're not looking at business income activity taxes. They make $300,000 on their W-2s. They contribute 10% to their 401ks. And they also have $10,000 in what are called SALT deductions, state and local income taxes. So if we look at their total tax liability, you've got your federal income tax, your FICA tax, your Oregon income tax, the metro housing, and here's the preschool for all tax. For Tom and Samantha in this example, they have an additional $1,050 in tax liability for living in the city of Portland that they could avoid if they moved to the suburbs. Now here's the similar household, Chris and Alexis, similar, but now they make $600,000 in W-2 income as opposed to only $300,000. And you can see here their tax liability grows. Their marginal tax is $7,500 for living in the city of Portland that they could avoid if they moved outside of the city. Now here's where things get a little bit more juicy, and this is a example of Greg and Sally. Sally runs a single member LLC with pass-through taxation, and she has net income of $500,000, and they contribute $50,000 to a retirement plan and have $10,000 in SALT deductions. So you can see their tax liability, and they're getting hit not only for the preschool for all tax, which is $4,500 that they could avoid, but also the Multnomah County business income tax, which is an additional $9,000. So their marginal tax liability is $13,500. So when you factor in the marginal tax liability on top of the overall tax liability they'd already have, you can see that these people are increasing their tax liability by anywhere from 0.3 to nearly 3% of what they would otherwise be able to have as tax liability. So the question arises, does it make sense for someone to pay 35% more for housing in order to save, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4% on their yearly income tax liability? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. Lee Davies and I worked together to come up with 4 homes that are for sale in Forest Heights, Multnomah County, City of Portland, and compared that to what we thought were 4 similar homes that are selling in Lake Oswego. So the 4 homes in Lake Oswego averages 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 4,000 square feet, and an average price of $1.65 million, and also has average property taxes of about $16,000 per year. Similar houses in Forest Heights, 4.5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, actually about 500 more square feet, are on sale for on average $1.25 million, so nearly $400,000 less, with property taxes that are about $5,000 higher. So what I did is I ran the payments, and so in Multnomah County, if a person were to buy a average home here at $1.25 million, and I assume $500,000 down payment, their monthly payments, including taxes and insurance, would be about $6,800. Whereas if that same person moved to Lake Oswego and bought a similar home for $1.65 million, then their monthly payments would be about $8,900, right? So what you have here is a monthly payment that is over $2,000 more per month, in recognition of the fact that the price point is higher. So when we look at the annual tax liability, including those marginal taxes for living in the city of Portland, and add in the annual PITI, which again includes the property taxes, you can see that in all 3 of these cases, it's between $11,000 and $23,000 per year less expensive to live in Multnomah County. In other words, the cheaper housing more than makes up for the marginal taxes. So again, I want to reiterate, I am not a CPA, I'm not a tax preparer, but I'm interested in this idea, and I want you to comment and ask questions below. Thank you so much.